My name is Kwabena Chenche Heniboti. Many thanks for joining us here on News Desk. So very first story is and the Electoral Commission has mounted a strong defense on the Commission's decision to charge 50,000 cedis and 10,000 cedis respectively as filing fee for presidential and parliamentary candidates in these general elections. Now, following the announcement of the new fee last week, some parties have described the amount as exorbitant in a movement to prevent some, quote, mushroom parties from partaking in this year's polls. Defending the Commission's decision, however, Director of Communications at the EC, Eric Kofi-Jakwasu, says the Commission acted within the law and had the best interest of the citizenry at heart.
What all that the Commission is doing is saying in conformity with the law. Okay, when you take Regulation 8 of the CI 94, it says that the Electoral Commission shall determine a fee to be filed by presidential and parliamentary candidates, and that is the function we have performed by setting up the fee. Right now, when you move on to Regulation 45, it says that at the end of the poll, when we count all the ballots, okay, for a presidential candidate, if you're able to garner 25% of the valid votes in the country, you come for your money. In any case, it's a deposit. Okay, if you make 25% of the valid vote, you come for your money. At the parliamentary level, if you're able to make 12.5%, you come for your money. So if this is what you mean by a performance task, then the performance task, as you call it, has been set by the law, as captured in CI 94 Regulation 45. And those who will not be able to make the target, okay, they forfeit the money, but the money doesn't come into the coffers of the Electoral Commission. It goes into the National Consolidated Fund. I don't get it, because the law says if you're able to perform and you make up this target, you come for your money. Okay, if you're able to make 25% in terms of the presidential, you come for it. The parliamentary, if you make 12.5%, you come for it. So if you say the Commission is interested, we are interested just to ensure the compliance with the law. No, far from that, the Electoral Commission is mandated to strengthen the country's democracy, to open up the space, okay, allow political parties, allow individual candidates, and give the opportunity to registered voters to exercise their franchise. So in the performance of the functions of the Commission cannot in any way deliberately try to stifle political parties and, as it were, prevent them from maturing and being vibrant. Yeah, that is an opinion coming from a candidate. It is respected, it is welcomed, but this is the decision of the Commission, and this is what the law says, and this is what we are doing. Okay, mind you, having said that, at the IPAC meeting, when this issue was tabled, the parties raised their concerns. Okay, when the parties raised their concerns, a lot of them spoke. Commission said, yes, your concerns are well noted. We will communicate back to you. If you review it, whichever way we do, you hear from us. Otherwise, the decision remains. What the Commission said is that all concerns have been taken on board. One, okay? We're going to see whether there will be the possibility of a review. If we review, whichever way we arrive at, it will be communicated to you. So these are policy decisions to be made by the Commission, and once the Commission makes it, I'll duly communicate it to you and the general Ghanaian public.
That was Eric Kofi-Jakwasu. He's head of communications at the Electoral Commission, in an interview there with my colleague Joseph Akable a short while ago. But there's been quite a number of reactions to this very issue as pertains currently. Let's try and get an understanding of how some of these smaller parties are reacting to this very issue. Hassan Ayariga is flag bearer and founder of the All People's Congress. He joins us on phone now with some thoughts on this issue. Mr. Ayariga, good morning. Many thanks for joining us here on News Desk, sir.
Good morning to you. Right. Good morning to your viewers.
Indeed. Hassan Ayariga,
let me make some corrections before you go ahead.
Okay.
The APC is not a smaller political party. The APC has the largest structures in Ghana, bigger than the NDC and that of the NPP. We have over 260 offices across Ghana. No party in Ghana has that offices, no party. So if you classify the APC as a smaller political party, I would like to ask, on what basis are you classifying the APC as a smaller political party? Because party is about structures, and we have not gone into any elections. So you can say we are a smaller political party.
I see. So you believe the APC is bigger than the NDC and NPP?
For now, if we're going to look at structures, because in parties, it's about structures. What structures have you put in place? The APC has bigger structure than the NDC and the NPP, and they all know it.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so let's come to the substantive issue of this filing fee issue. I don't know, but what is the stance of the APC as far as this issue is concerned? 50,000 Ghana cedis. Are you willing and ready to pay?
We have said that the figure was too small for a political party or a leader who wants to contest this election to pay just 50,000. We, in our elections, I paid 100,000 Ghana cedis to the party to contest as a candidate. So I don't see the reason why the Electoral Commission would then charge 50,000. They should have charged more than that, at least 150,000 Ghana cedis for anybody who wants to contest. And even before you pick the form, you paid a month before you pick the form. Not you just come and pick the form, waste the form, and then you don't return it, and we are wasting government resources. You pay the money before you pick the form. Then we'll see how many political parties are serious in terms of campaigning, in terms of wanting to win political power. It's high time we start being serious with our issues, not rather just giving them people numerous platforms to be misbehaving. We have 25 political parties in Ghana, and none of these political parties, most of them don't have offices. Most of them don't have places they operate from. They just have the platform as a political party and wasting our time. So we need serious political party to come on board and let's do serious business. But allowing 50,000, if you want to run for an election and you are worried about 50,000 Ghana cedis, are you kidding me? How much is 50,000? You go out in a day to campaign and 50,000 is gone.
Mr. Ayaga, how much are you willing to spend on your campaign for these very elections? What's your budget?
I can tell you in millions.
A million Ghana cedis. That's what you plan on spending?
Not millions, in millions. I've spent over 1 million Ghana cedis so far.
Already?
So far, more than that. I go out in a day, I spend 200, 300,000, 30,000, 40,000 gold cedis. And you think that if I've been campaigning for a month, how much should that be? And putting over 250 offices. The CPP, the PPP, Papa Kwesiendum is talking about having 40 offices. If you put his offices, including all his banks and everything of it, he cannot get up to 240 offices. And the APC, in less than 2 months, has over 250 offices. This shows this demonstrates our seriousness in trying to win power.
Mr. Hassan Ayaga,
a political party,
right? You
don't have offices, then they say pay 50,000, and you are complaining. I mean, are you serious? You want to manage an economy of $50 billion, and you don't have 50,000 Ghana cedis? So
you're saying 50,000 Ghana cedis is a little on the low side. So if at all there should be a review, it should probably go up. How much are you looking at? 150. 150,000 Ghana cedis. Exactly, because I have paid 100,000 as a political party. Why would the EC charge less than mine? Some would say this is democracy for sale. Would you not agree? Everything has a value. There is nothing that doesn't have a value. Everything, you have to pay the price for it. To become president, you have to campaign. To become a parliamentary candidate, you have to go around and campaign. You sitting where you are, you have studied before you get there. You just didn't get up and say, I'm a journalist, and they put you there. You've gone through a lot of things. You paid school fees. You paid a lot of things to be there. So everything has a value, and we must pay the price for it. This means for those who have the genuine interest of the country at heart and want to want to go ahead and serve the nation, they are excluded from this bracket, particularly if they do not have this amount of money you are proposing, 150,000 Ghana cedis. How many people can come up with that? Let me be very honest with you. Being resourceful is part of leadership. It's part of leadership. If you are not resourceful, you cannot be thinking of being a leader, because it's one quality of leadership to make sure that you are comfortable. So if you who wants to lead this country, you're not comfortable, how sure are we if we entrust our resources to you, you will not steal our resources? How sure are you? So you must know that before you become a leader, you should have gone through a lot of difficulties, a lot of challenges, become very successful before you become leader. And that is why I always say, let's look at the leadership qualities of all the leaders that we have on board, rather than looking at political parties. Because right now, what we do is that we vote political parties instead of the leaders. Assess the leadership of each leader. Look into his affairs. What has he done over the years? What has he attained or achieved for himself as an individual before getting to the political landscape to campaign for it? Okay, Mr. Ayaga,
part of leadership quality.
You've mentioned a lot of things. Key amongst them has to do with the fact that you spent over $1 million Ghana cedis on your campaign so far. Now, the key question many would want an answer to is, where do you get your funds? Because already it doesn't appear you have...
I've not even spent 1 million. I've spent millions. I didn't say 1 million.
You said you spent millions.
Yes.
And you hope to spend some more. So where are your funds coming from?
I'm a businessman.
What do you do?
I do a lot of businesses.
Can you take us through a few of the things you do?
I do import and export. I do a lot. I do banking. It's not everybody who comes out and talks like some of these politicians. You need to access me, and then you know more about me. And you know, at the age of 22, I made my first $1 million. So you can imagine, at age 40, what I should be having.
So you're not being funded by anyone or any group of persons?
Brag, but let's be very serious as a nation. It is not by chance I became a presidential candidate at age 40. No. I worked for it. It's not by chance I have my own party at age 43. I worked for it. It's not by chance I built my first house at age 22. I worked for it. It's not by chance I bought my first car at age 16. I worked for it. So we need to be serious. These are achievements I've had throughout my life, and serious of it. So let's be serious. 50,000 is nothing to a whole political party, 50,000. Are you kidding me?
We've had a party as big as CPP, its flag bearer, coming out to say that you know what, this money is a little on the high side. It may disenfranchise, not necessarily disenfranchise them, but it may put a bit of a barricade in the way, an impediment in their way, such that they may not be able to contest the elections. 50,000, and we are promoting multi-party democracy. So rather than increase the amount of money, why not reduce it to get all hands on deck? I mean, let's get everybody involved, and then the Ghanaian populace can decide who best to lead the country for the next 4 years.
We have different schools in Ghana. Go and ask the CPP flag bearer where his schools are, his kids are. They are attending private schools. Why didn't they go to the government school? Because it's cheap. You should send them there. So I mean, we have priorities in life, and we know where. There's a saying that monkeys play by sizes. If you can't, you walk off. I mean, nobody's forcing you to contest. This is an election, and we must show seriousness.
Okay.
Government needs money.
So for you, it's high time we showed seriousness, and a lot more commitment needs to be put into this very issue of elections.
Where you are right now, your boss has to pay salary. At the end of the day, if he is not able to make it, you walk out from where you are to a different station. Not because the place is not good, but because probably it's not meeting your demand. You're not able to pay your expenditure and your expenses, so you move on. So as a nation, you want to lead this country, you must be willing to sacrifice and commit to building this country by paying that fee. I mean, let's be serious. 50,000 is nothing we should be talking about, right? Let's talk about.
I'm still curious about how you fund your political party, and you're saying that you are moving money from your personal account, your private businesses, into the party, and that's what you're using for campaigns. So what should happen if you lose the elections? How do you recoup your investments?
In an election, you either lose or win. You go there, you win, but if the unfortunate happens, that is it. You pay the price for it. That's why I told you that we pay prices for everything we do in this world. Even to live as a human being, you pay the price for it. If you go to the hospital, you pay hospital bills. You drink water, you pay for it. Whatever. There is nothing free here. Let's begin to understand. Ignorance is our problem. Until we begin to know that ignorance is the problem of the African and the Ghanaian, we will be where we are. It's not just the leadership, but ignorance. It's a serious problem for us.
Hassan Ayaga, many thanks for your time on News Desk this morning. And Hassan Ayaga is flag bearer of the All People's Congress, and he was reacting to that very stance or position taken by the Electoral Commission, suggesting that, well, they have pegged the filing fee for presidential candidates at 50,000 Ghana cedis. If you plan on leading the country, you should be able to come up with 50,000 Ghana cedis. For many, the idea behind this was for the EC to cut down the numbers. Already we have about 25 or so persons vying for the presidential slots. But let's try and get another reaction from another party, not so dominant in the political landscape now. But Kofi Akpaloo is flag bearer of the Independent People's Party. He's joining us also on phone with his thoughts on the issue. Mr. Akpaloo, good morning. Many thanks for joining us. Your News Desk.
Yeah, good morning, my brother.
50,000 Ghana cedis to be president. Do you have that kind of money?
Actually, as a party, we will see what we can do to raise the money, but I don't think the money is going to deter us from contesting this election.
Do you think 50,000 cedis is a little on the high side?
Oh yeah, it is, because you know initially it was 10,000. That was the last election,
yes.
And 1,000 cedis for the parliamentary. So even we were expecting something around maybe 15,000 or 20,000 thereabout, but unfortunately they came up with this 50,000. But maybe that is another way to exclude people from contesting the election. So we'll see what we can do.
Mr. Palu, one of your colleagues or one other person seeking to govern the country for the next 4 years and also belonging to a relatively new party is Hassan Ayariga. He's with the All People's Congress. He says if you're a serious politician and you really want to govern the country, paying 50,000 Ghana cedis to be given the mandate to rule the country is nothing you should complain about. So why are you complaining?
Actually, Hassan Ayariga, I'm so disappointed in him by coming out with that. He's thinking about himself. He's not thinking about the larger populace. You see, this is what we call exclusive governance, whereby you try to exclude some people. The end result is that it's going to affect the economic growth of this country. It's not something that everybody should take in light, that you were charging 1,000 cedis and all of a sudden you move into 10,000 cedis. You know, when you are thinking selfishly, that is when you come out with that. But if you are thinking about the general populace, you will never say, pass that kind of comment that he is trying to, I don't know where it's coming from. So, my brother, I don't think it's good for our body policy, like charging people that kind of money.
The key issue has to do with the numbers. Now, some are saying that most of these parties, there have been instances where even your party has been mentioned, that we only hear of you or you only become relevant during elections. And it's all because there's a lot to benefit or a lot to gain from the entire electioneering process. That's how come you rear your heads anytime there's election. But other than that, you do not do so much to ensure that, yes, you are relevant to the political discourse in the country. So this is a way of getting you out of the scene so we get the serious ones to contest.
No, you see, it's not about making noise every day that makes you a political party. Like you are there fighting on any petty issues that makes you a political party.
Is that what some are doing?
Oh, yes, because you see, most of them, tell me one important economic issue that they have been able to raise. If you can give me one. Because, you see, sometimes they just make noise. They don't come out with any fantastic idea that will help to transform this economy. So, my brother, those who are saying that some parties, you only hear of them during electionary year, they don't understand anything. Because, you see, when you go to the so-called advanced economy, when they finish elections, everybody comes together to help their ruling government to execute that will transform the economy. They wait till the year of elections when you see people coming out with their flags, coming out with alternatives and all those kind of stuff. But here, when we finish one election, the very next day, we are doing another election. So we'll be campaigning all year. For the 4 years, we'll be campaigning, which is wrong. It doesn't help. That's why it creates all unnecessary animosity in our body politics. We should refrain from that. I don't think that's the way forward. We should come up with ideas that, hey, if you give me the chance, I will do so and so to transform the economy or to create jobs or to create this. But here's the case. They just make noise, my brother.
Mr. Palu, I asked Hassan Ayariga a question about funding, and he gave me an answer. I want to ask you the same question. How are you funding your campaign this time round?
Actually, we are talking to people who share our ideals, and those who are giving us support, because we are a liberal party, and we belong to African Liberal Network and also Liberal International. So we are talking to our members, and they are helping us. So, my brother, that's where we are getting our funding and our help from.
How much have you spent on your campaign so far?
I won't be able to give you the figure.
Is it in the thousands, the hundreds of thousands, or the millions?
I won't be able to give you the figure on of head, my brother.
I was asking for a rough estimate, whether or not it will be in the thousands of Ghana cedis.
I won't be able to do that. I am not the treasurer. The treasurer will be able to tell you that.
I see. Kofi Akpaloo, many thanks for your time on News Desk this morning.
Yeah,
and Kofi Akpaloo is the flag bearer of the Independent People's Party, or Independent Political Party, I believe. Also giving us his thoughts on the subject matter. Pretty interesting, it appears to be so far, with two people representing members of of various political parties who are not as domineering as others are in the political landscape, giving conflicting reactions to this very issue. Well, for Hassan Ayariga, he believes the 50,000 Ghana cedi mark set is even too low. Kofi Akpaloo, on the other hand, says, well, that is a little too high, and he would want a review of that very issue. We are still trying the lines to get a few more reactions to this very issue, but as and when we have that, we'll bring that conversation back to you. But in that very interview with my colleague Joseph Akable, Mr. Jekwaso also said the commission will not call for more tenders following the failure of 3 companies shortlisted to undertake the electronic transmission of results meeting the criteria. And I'm sure that very issue was also quite topical. It has to do with the electronic transmission of election results. It was pretty topical, but now the information we have is that the EC is deferring that very move until next elections. Let's take a listen to Head of Communications at the Electoral Commission, Eric Ofi-Jegbaso, in an interview with Joseph Akable.
It's a tendering process. It goes to the demonstration as part of the evaluation. There is an evaluation panel in place. Criterion was given to the various companies. In fact, 2 companies were shortlisted to come and do the demo. Okay, so the criterion was there: technical, administrative, security, and then scope of the project was given to them. At the end of the demonstration and as part of the evaluation process, the evaluation panel recommended that none of the companies met the technical and administrative criteria. And the way they presented it would even require a revision of the scope of the project. So based on the recommendations of the evaluation panel, the Electoral Commission decided to terminate the contract. So as it is, contract has not been awarded, and therefore the project cannot be rolled. It's a technical thing, okay, and I'm not a technical person, okay, but these were the technical criteria given, administrative criteria, all these things were given, and this from the evaluation panel endorsed by the commission. No, we are not using the electronic results transmission as we intended to use it, but the Electoral Commission itself has a modest transmission system, collation and transmission system, which we have tested in about 4 by-elections. We're talking about Talensi, we are talking about Abuakwa North, Wassa Menfi, and recently at Abetifi. That is what we're going to fine-tune. No, we're talking about having a lab system for a collation officer at the constituency collation center. As the results come in and they have been vetted, and then the collation officer enters it into the laptop through the Excel and then projects it on a bigger screen, okay, at the collation center, where we have all the reps of the political parties, candidates, observers, and accredited persons, including security. So as the results come in, besides the manual collation that is going on around the collation table, where again you have all the representatives and agents of the various political parties and candidates, we're projecting this on a bigger screen so that all other persons, observers around, would be watching exactly the results which are coming in and are being collected manually. Okay, so you know, beside the table, the collation table where the process is going on, all other persons will be viewing the results as they come in. So that makes it more transparent, more open, okay? So that at the end of the day, the collation officer on the Excel spreadsheet will come out with a total. Then we have the manual total of the results. But as required by law, it is the manual one which is captured in law, and that will form the basis of the declaration of the results. From the collation center, as part of the reforms, the collation sheet, this time there's going to be a constituency collation sheet where all the results from all the polling stations will be captured onto the collation sheet, okay? And all the party agents would append their signature to this. This one will be forwarded to the National Collation Center. That is for the presidential ballots. That will be sent to the an email, a fax system, whichever, to the National Collation Center.
You're watching News Desk here on your Joy News channel on Multi TV, and just a short while ago you did hear Head of Communications at the Electoral Commission, Eric Kofi Jekwaso, in an interaction there with Joseph Akable. There's more on this in subsequent bulletins right here on your Joy News channel. We're taking a break. We'll be back shortly with some more stories. Stay tuned.